Hi, I'm Delusion Dispeller, and I've been receiving quite a few emails regarding my beliefs and claiming that they are cultic. So I decided to address the issue. Now, I'm not going to sit and read off of a paper, so this is going to be very ad lib um, from my heart to your ears, so to speak. I want to talk about some of the teachings. I want to remind you that I am not a full, die-hard, um, literal word of faith believer. I do not follow any one word of faith ministry or any one word of faith doctrine. My beliefs are kind of a mix of word of faith and Messianic Judaism. And that's because I have a personal relationship with my Father, God, Yahweh, and I have no problem sharing those beliefs. And you can agree, disagree, hate me, love me. At this point, I have been so ripped one way and down the other that I really don't care. So I'm just going to put it out there as I choose. And you can take it or leave it because, well, it's my YouTube channel and I can do this. So, first of all, and I didn't know this, I just found this out. Kenneth Hagin was one of the main teachers of the Word of Faith movement. And yes, there are parts of it that are very cultic. There are beliefs in it that are very cultic. Obviously, those beliefs I do not adhere to, but it is part of the Word of Faith movement. And when I say I'm a Word of Faith, or I perhaps should maybe change the label to um, I believe the full gospel beliefs. I believe that what the word says, much of it is literal. I believe that I can apply it to my life, that kind of thing. Because when you say you're something and someone goes and looks it up, the first thing they're going to see, especially with Word of Faith, is the Word of Faith Fellowship, which is indeed a cult. It is an abusive, child abusing cult. And I would challenge anybody from there to tell me it's not, because it is. I know that. Anyways, I've never been there. No, I've seen the documentaries on it. I've watched the interviews of people from it. I have never attended this church at all. My beliefs have absolutely nothing to do with Word of Faith Fellowship, or WOFF as it's called. My beliefs are my own beliefs, and it comes from spending time alone with God, me and Him, or Him and me, however you want to say it, Him and I. Um, but I do want to tell you exactly what I believe. Hey, Mommy Mars, I will be right back. I need to turn this heat off. It's too hot. Okay. And I'm sitting here in a sweater roasting. So I want to talk to you about some of the beliefs that Word of Faith teaches that I do not agree with and I do not believe, okay? First, I want to tell you what I just found out because I kind of got off on a tangent. I found out that Kenneth Hagin, who is one of the main Word of Faith teachers, hey Lisa, um, got his teachings, plagiarized his teachings from a man named E.W. Kenyon, who was a positive thinking, positive affirmation type person. Now, there's nothing wrong, in my opinion, with having positive affirmations. I think it's a whole lot better than speaking negatively over yourself. But he plagiarized his teachings and started the Word of Faith movement, the Rhema church, the Rhema beliefs, etc. And if you wonder what Rhema means, there is in the Bible words on paper. That's called the logos or logos, however you want to say it, logos. I don't know. That's the logos word or the logos word, which means it's written. And then there's the Rhema word, which means that logos becomes real to you. It becomes something that you believe and something that you practice and something that you live by. That's where the word Rhema came from. Kenneth Hagin started Rhema Bible College. Yes, truth. Rhema, truth. Thank you, Mommy Mars. It also means truth. I was going to actually do this as an upload, and I thought, why? I've got nothing to hide. And if somebody wants to stream it, go for it. Stream it all you want. In fact, stream all my videos. I don't care. If you lack that much content that you need to stream mine, why not? Whatever. Ah, yes, Owen Benjamin. Okay, I have heard of him, but I don't know who he is. Anyway, so Kenneth Hagin actually plagiarized his beliefs from E.W. Kenyon, who I don't know if E.W. was actually a Christian or I guess that's debatable when you hear some of the stuff that EW taught and believed, which we'll get into in a little while. Anyway, my involvement in Word of Faith came after I got excommunicated from a church because this particular church believed in casting demons out of people. And they believed that everybody had demons that did anything that they didn't agree with. So I was put through a 6-hour deliverance with somebody shouting at the demons in me, which I do believe in deliverance, and I do believe in shouting and telling demons to get lost. Oh, cool. One love. But it was a weird situation because, and somebody said this today about, oh, well, Dee Dee's probably addicted to this person because she said she was addicted to people in the past. I'm not going to deny what the truth is. And I was addicted to somebody in the past, a pastor's wife. I really believed I was called to be her right-hand man, her armor bearer, somebody to help her, someone to stand by her side. And I told her that, and she didn't listen, and I got obsessed with her. I was determined to tell her, not teach her, but to tell her that I'm the one God sent to be by your side, to, validate you, to go with you places and tell people, what you're saying and help you bring forth the message of God. I really believed this. I don't know that I don't believe it now. I still believe that I was called to do that for her, but she didn't get the revelation of that. For whatever reason, that wasn't the way she felt God was leading. And so she rejected me. And so I got frustrated, and I was very, very young. I was in my early 20s at the time and did not know a lot about how to approach authorities. Authorities were very intimidating to me. And at the same time, I looked up to them and I was fascinated with them. So I did not know how to approach her and sit down and talk to her about it. I just knew, well, God told me this, and this is the way it is. And you're disobeying God because you will not let me come alongside you and help you minister to people. So, oh, that's okay, Maggie. So she still didn't receive it anyway. And she just sort of pushed me away. And at a ladies' fellowship we went to, a couple of the ladies got together with her and said, we really need to sit down and do some inner healing on this girl, meaning me. And we need to do some deliverance and take authority over these spirits that are controlling her. So it was arranged with the pastor's permission that I go through a deliverance. And it didn't happen for the longest time. And at that time, I was basically training to be an insurance salesperson. So I drove all the way out to Skokie, Illinois, and I was there for like 3 long weeks cramming for this insurance sales license, which I did get, by the way. Didn't do me much good because I only kept it for 9 months and then stopped going out on insurance runs. But while I was there, I called the pastor and I said, I know that we're supposed to be doing this deliverance on me. When are we doing it? Like, I'm really being tormented here. Because I didn't understand why I was being rejected by this woman. I really believed God called me to that purpose, and she wasn't having it. So I just felt really, really tormented and upset about the whole thing. And yes, I started believing I had demons, and I can't say that I didn't. Anyway, something was bothering me. Oh yeah, I was, Sarah so-and-so. I was addicted to others too after that. Let me not get off track though. Anyways, this has a pattern that I'm trying to follow here, like a timeline thing. And I get very distracted. That's called ADHD. Anyway, actually ADD. I don't have the H. I have ADD. I had the H when I was younger. I had the hyperactivity. I'm not hyper now. All right. So anyhow, I called him one other time when I was staying in the hotel and asked him, and he got really mad. He's like, look, I'm on vacation with my wife. Don't call here again. We will let you know when we're ready. And I had been waiting for weeks and weeks, told that I had all these demons in me and I needed to be set free, blah, blah, blah. Now, this was an Assemblies of God, by the way. This was not a Word of Faith church. I need to let you know that up front. This is leading to when I ended up in the Word of Faith. I'm just kind of setting the stage so you can understand. All right. So anyway, I got my license. I went back home. And then one day I got a call. We need you to come in. We're going to do the deliverance on Saturday. Just come on in and we'll talk to you and explain everything to you. And so I went in and they went into this room with me. And the pastor's wife and a couple other women were there for the whole deliverance session. And remember, this was a woman that I felt I was called to be her armor bearer, her helper. She rejected me. She was the one they had do the deliverance. Mistake number one. Mistake number two, there was not a whole lot of prayer over the time that it was done. My mentor, who I'll talk about in a little while, was the one that said the biggest mistake they made with you was they never covered it in prayer. They never prayed about it. They never prayed over the whole thing like they should have. It should have been an intense time of prayer. They should have really sought where the Lord was leading them to pray over you, etc. Well, they didn't. Long story short. So the pastor's wife came up to me and said, first of all, honey, I love you. And I want you to know we all love you. And when we scream or we raise our voice and tell these things to leave you alone, we're not yelling at you. We're yelling at the spirits inside of you. And she had a little sweet voice. That's why I'm kind of talking like that. Now remember, I was already connected with her. I was already attached. I was already like convinced I was supposed to be her sidekick. So it was a really big mistake to have her look me in the eye for 6 hours and say, it's not you I'm yelling at. I love you, honey. I love you. You know, we love you. We're here for you, Laura. We're here for you. It just further cemented the soul tie connection. Bad plan. Very bad plan. Anyway, so the deliverance was done. They cast demons out of me, whatever. I felt free when they were done. Whether it was psychological, physiological, all in my head, or you really believe in spirits, all I know is when I went there for that deliverance, I felt bound up. When I left that place, I felt free. For the first time in my life, I did not hear voices in my head telling me to do terrible things like hurt myself, hurt other people, whatever. I was free. And I wanted to tell the world, oh my gosh, you guys got to know about this whole deliverance thing. You can get free of this stuff. You don't have to be bound anymore. You don't have to suffer anymore. But unfortunately, the Assemblies of God Church had not really been real keen on the whole idea of demon casting, exorcism, whatever you want to call it. So I was hushed. I was told, shh, quiet. Don't say anything because you're going to alienate people. You're going to confuse people. They don't know about this kind of thing. And I was confused and angry. I was like, what do you mean? Such a wonderful thing has happened to me. For the first time in my life, I have a sane mind. And you don't want me to tell people how they can get free too? You're nuts. You're not going to keep me quiet. I'm a rebel too. Keep that in mind. So I was telling everybody, oh, I went through this 6-hour thing and this is what they did. And I didn't see it was any big, huge secret. So I wasn't trying to keep it one. Well, again, I was approached by the pastor and told to be quiet. And if I wasn't quiet, they would have a meeting of the deacons and the leaders of the church, and they would talk about what to do with me. I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. So then I began telling people how wonderful the pastor and his wife were and how the church was such an awesome place and how blessed they would be to come there. So anyway, this one girl in the church was having all kinds of problems and her parents were too. And they came to me for counsel. That's the story of my life, people. Okay. Whether you like me or hate me, the fact is people from the time I was young, riding the bus to school in high school, people would just sit there and tell me their whole life story and ask me for advice. It's always happened that way. Whether I wanted it to or not, people for some reason trust me and feel heard when they talk to me. Not hurt, heard. So anyways, I was trying to help this family. And I basically told this family some of the stuff that had happened to me, how I got free, how they would be really helped by these people, whatever. It got so misconstrued and so twisted around. By the time that story got back to the pastor, he had me wearing black, putting curses on people, and what was it? Acting something. I heard how you was wearing black and putting curses over the church, and that you were talking to devils and all kinds of weird stuff. I don't know. Anyway, I went up for prayer to the pastor one day at Bible study, and that's what happened. He basically said, remember I told you not to talk about stuff to people? I said, yeah. He said, well, unfortunately, I've talked to the deacon, and he's told me I have to ask you to leave. And I'm like, what? You're asking me to leave the church? You're kicking me out of a church? Well, because we told you not to say anything, and we heard you said blah, blah, blah. And I talked to somebody, and they told me how you put on a black outfit and came up and started cursing the church. And you did this, that, and the other. And I'm just sitting there, my jaw is hitting the floor going, what? Who told you this stuff? And he's like, well, I can't reveal that information. I said, seriously? You I don't know where you're getting your information from, but I did put a black dress on because I wore that dress to a family gathering. It had nothing to do with anything demonic. I've been set free from demons. You cast them out of me yourself, and now you're accusing me of putting curses on a church. What church? What are you talking about? Well, he wouldn't tell me that, and I knew what he was talking about because I had a pastor friend that I had gone to his church, and I didn't like his church. So I was scolding my husband saying, I don't like it here, and I'm leaving. Not really scolding. I was snapping at him going, I don't want to be here. I don't feel comfortable here. This is boring. There's no flow of the spirit. There's no life here. And that's what I was saying. I never put a curse on the church ever. That was like so far-fetched. Anyway, so he's like, so I heard how you did this, and then you told this girl that we worship Satan rather than God. Did you say that? And I'm like, no. Robbie loves misery. Okay, whatever. Welcome to the room. God bless you. Okay, so I was like, no, I never said that. That's like the craziest thing I've ever heard. So he didn't believe me. He said, well, I'm sorry. This really hurts me to do this. I said, no, it doesn't. It doesn't hurt you one iota. Why are you listening to a bunch of hearsay and gossip instead of letting me explain what really happened? He's like, I don't want to discuss it further. I just need you to, leave, and we'll handle it from here or something like that. I was like, I looked at him and I said, I hope you feel proud of yourself. I hope this makes you feel like you're some big man on the totem pole at the top of your whatever. Your high horse, I think is what I said. I understand how you need to be on your high horse and stuff. And he just started kind of getting real red in the face. It was really clearly upsetting him that he asked me to leave. Anyway, I remember I walked out and I ran into my friend's arms. She was in the library outside the church congregation area, whatever, the church. And I ran into her arms and she was just like hugging stone. And she's like, what's wrong? I said, they kicked me out. She's like, oh, wow, that's terrible. And I could tell she knew about it. She knew ahead of time that they were going to do it because she was friends with the pastor's wife and the pastor and all the higher ups, whatever. So she wasn't much comfort. And I had a little baby at the time that was like about 2, one of my children. And I think I sent the other daughter out to sit with her. And I remember I walked out and I shook the dust off my feet, I think. And then I heard a voice say, you get back in there. I'm not done talking to them. And I was like, oh, no. I'm leaving with some sense of dignity intact. And again, I heard it. Get back in there. I'll tell you what to say. Yeah. After this live, I'm going to get all kinds of crazy emails, I'm sure, and comments about how I'm Lulu and crazy. And I don't care. Whatever. This is what happened. This is my experience. And someday when we go face God or whatever you believe is after this, if there's something, existing after this life, they'll tell you that this really happened exactly the way I'm saying. Anyways, so I went back in there and I heard Jesus say to me, give me your hand. So I literally put my hand out. I'm like, okay. He said, I will hold your hand through this whole thing. I will tell you exactly what I want you to speak. I will give you the words. I'm like, all right. So he said, you get in there and tell them that I'm not done with them yet and that you have more from me to say to them. And I'm like, okay. So I walked back in there and he came out of the hallway and he was like, you could tell he was bawling. Thanks, Mommy Mars. You could tell he was bawling. His face was bright red. He had tears in his eyes. And I looked him in the eye and I said, Pastor God said he's not done talking to you. So you want to sit down? No, I'm fine right here. I'll stand. I said, okay. And I began pulling scriptures out to tell him, holding him accountable for the ways he had mistreated other people, the ways he mistreated me, believing gossip, whatever, from scriptures I had never even read in my lifetime. Okay. That's why I believe God is real, because I've seen and experienced some awesome, amazing things. Hate speech. Later. Okay. Anyway. Hi, buddy. What's wrong? My kitty cat. All right. So I told him what God had to tell him. And at the end, I heard a voice say, now give them a hug and say you love them and they're still your brother. You love them and they're still your sister. And I did. And I remembered hugging the pastor's wife, and she was like a board. She had no feeling, no emotion. And now this was somebody that I already get help. You go get help. This was somebody that, like weeks before had been telling me she loved me and cared about me and how glad she was that I brought my family to the church and how glad she was that I was there, blah, blah, blah. Hillary, let me give you the hat here, the moderator privileges. Do what you need to do, girl. Go for it. Let me read their comments first, but then boot them. Okay, because I don't have to put up with this. This is my room. It's just like if you came in my house and started being stupid and acting the fool, I'm going to kick you out. You don't have a right to act up in my house. Okay, anyway. Oh, and remember, you think I'm a narcissist, so I will take control because that's what we narcissists do. All right, anyways. Narcissist or not, this is how it happened. All right, so I did that, and then I said, may God forgive you. And I walked out. Oh, I remember he said to me, look, Laura, if what you're saying is true, if you are innocent in all of these things and what you're saying is true, then one day God is going to show me. And just like Joseph, who was beat up and sent away to slavery and stuff, you'll be restored in my sight. You're a narcissist. That's funny. You're a narcissist queen. Hillary, you're goofy. All right. Anyways, so I said, okay. And I left. At that point, I was angry. And yes, I was bad mouthing that church. I was bad mouthing everybody. What's a lort? Hang on. I'm going to look up this definition. I'm curious as to what that means. Definition. If it's not appropriate, I guess you're going to be finding yourself on the outside of my room, maybe. I don't know what it is. The League of Resident Theaters. No, it's urban. Oh, wow. Nice. Okay. Not appropriate. Sarah so-and-so, you need to leave. You're hidden. Done. Bye. Enough done as my computer's acting up. Am I still here? Yeah, it looks like I am. Internet's giving me fits here. Okay. I bind you, Satan. The Lord rebuke you from keeping my message from going out. Okay. Anyhow, I'm just telling you leading up to how I got into the Word of Faith beliefs, okay? That's all I'm doing. All right. Thank you, One Love. All right. So I left and cried and laid in pools and puddles of tears on my basement floor day after day, week after week, month after month, till I didn't want to do anything. I was suicidal. I was a mess. I was hurt. You have to understand, I moved from New York to Illinois during that time. So those were my only friends. That was my family, my spiritual family. And they had rejected me, utterly rejected me. Then in the mail, like a couple weeks later, I get this message, this envelope with a letter in it saying that I had been excommunicated and asked to leave the church until further notice. It was signed by the pastor, his wife, and a bunch of deacons. So I had it in print right in front of my face. You are officially now rejected from the church. Okay, now I have to tell you, I understand sometimes kicking out the cray-cray from your presence, from your church, from your group, your Bible study, your sport group, whatever. The Bible does say, cast out the dissension bringer and strife will cease. So if I was all kinds of reckless and coming into your chat room or going into your group and I'm doing crazy, nutty stuff or stirring up strife, then kick my butt out, okay? You have the right, and you should, because cast out the dissension bringer and strife will cease. So cast me out so that your peace can remain, no problem. All right. Of course I'm being streamed. Hi, everybody. It's me, Dee Dee, the histrionic, or some say maybe narcissistic. That doesn't really fit the description of narcissism. I understand I'm being streamed. So entertainment for all. Hope you guys enjoy the show. All right. So anyhow, continuing on with what I was saying, I was a mess for the longest time. I was laying in puddles of tears and cyclothymic. Get the diagnosis right. Here, I will spell it out for you since you can't seem to remember it. Cyclothymic. Actually, it's called cyclothymia. There you go. That's what I have, okay? That's what I have. Been through a lot of trauma. I had an OCD dad, paranoid schizophrenic dad. It's a miracle I even have half the brain cells I still have. It's a blessing of God. All right. No, they're not the same. I think you need to go back and do your research in psychology. Okay. Anyhow, and it really doesn't matter what I am. We're all in human form right now, so we're bound to have some kind of brain cells that are loose because basically, we pollute our soil and our water, and we kill the the wildlife and the oceanic animals by our overuse of plastic bags. And then we wonder why we get sick when we eat certain fish from all the pollutants in our rivers and lakes. So yeah, somebody's going to have some kind of mental thing going on. We don't take care of our land. We don't take care of our environment. It's not surprising. Okay. Not earth-shattering anyway. All right. So anyways, yeah, Hillary will deal with y'all if you start acting up too much in here because I'm not going to have it. I have something I want to say, and I don't feel like being distracted every 5 seconds with drivel. Okay. And besides, I'm being filmed, so I want this to look good. If I'm going to be a Hollywood movie star someday, I got to have it going on here. All right. Anyway. So, after that, I was a mess. I'm going to try not to look at the screens right now. Okay, hold on. I'm going to clarify this right now. Cyclothymia is milder than bipolar 1 or bipolar 2 in that the depressive and hypomanic episodes are not as intense as those found in the other two disorders. In between the highs and lows, you may feel pretty normal. That came from verywellmind.com. There you go. Go check it out. So, no, they're not the same. Sorry. Okay. Anyway. All right. So I don't want to keep saying the same thing I said. Anyways, I just did not want to talk to anybody. I wanted to just sit in my room and cry and lament my life. I was miserable. I was just totally beside myself, unhappy, and a mess. So, in the meantime, one of the church secretary, the church secretary's sister went to the pastor. They were good friends. And she said, look, I will take Laura under my wing. I will pray with her every day. But the requirement is she calls me. And I'm not going to call her, but if she calls me, I will pray with her every day. Because that's what you all should have done in the first place, was pray before starting to cast demons off of somebody. because deliverance ministry and exorcism, that is something that you have to be very careful with it. There are spirits in this world, and you don't want to toy with the wrong ones and do it the wrong way. So, pastor approved it. This was the pastor that kicked me out. I guess he still thought he was my spiritual leader, so he had the jurisdiction to determine whether, I could get help or not. So he said, yeah, that's fine. He approved it. So I began calling her and we began praying over the phone. And a lot of times I get very angry and say, I don't understand why they're defending him just because he's a pastor. What he did was wrong. He kicked me out on the basis of lies. And she would say, look, I understand. And I would take her to scripture. She'd say, I hear what you're saying. Yes, you're quoting the truth from the scripture, but this is just how it is. What? Oh, okay. Hang on, y'all. My ex is here with some present things.
Explain to what?
Okay.
Okay. You're the artist. Don't have to. This is just a pattern today.
Oh, okay. Nice. That'll be fun to paint. All right. Ooh, these are different this year.
Well, I found these patterns over at the Dollar Tree.
Cool. Now you can find good stuff there. That's where I'm gonna be buying Christmas gifts, probably.
Do you know the building one in Milan? The Dollar Tree?
Really? Don't they have a dollar store in mine?
Dollar Tree.
Oh. So then Dollar Store is going to be in competition with Dollar Tree. Or they'll probably close out because Dollar Tree will take over.
I've got another set of each.
Oh, that's cute.
Like I said, you're the artist. You can. This is how they were. This is how I bought the pattern. Seeing they were riveted like that.
Yeah.
I bought the pattern for $1. I said, shoot. I said, that would look cool if they were out of wood.
Oh, I like that.
This one's an elf.
That's cute. So we're doing these for the girls?
Yep.
Cool. So we're not doing shelf sitters then this time?
No.
Okay.
I was going to do
It's
these.
something different.
I was going to do the shelf sitters, and then I found these. These are the legs, and just to show you how.
Yeah, the patterns.
But I forgot the paints at home.
I have paints.
Okay.
You can bring me more whenever you get a chance, though.
Okay. Like I said, you don't have to make that plaid like that. You can just make it green.
Well, I kind of like it.
Hey, if you want to make it plaid, you're the artist.
Okay.
I figured I'd get these 3 to you. I've got 3 more cut out than you'd put together, but this will give you a start.
Okay. Cool. All right. I'll get going on it. I don't have a lot of time, but I will do it in between.
Like I said, I painted it all white.
Yeah, you know how I hate doing the base coat.
Right. I did the base coat, wiped them up, painted them twice, and wiped them all off.
All right. Awesome.
I did all the yesterday. Cut all those out.
Okay. Looks like you've been busy.
Yeah. See about Randy's car?
No, what about it?
Randy got a car? She bought a 2015 Equinox.
Wow.
Or what you call
nice.
Her husband did.
Cool.
So have fun.
All right. Thanks.
Yep.
All right. That's my ex. He brought me stuff to work on that I can't show you because it's Christmas gifts. Hold on. I need to feed the kitty cat. Hang on, T. Hang on. I know you're hungry. All right, buddy. You got it. You got it. There you go, bud. There you go. Eat up. Eat up. Okay, guys.
You talked to Amber?
About what?
Just telling her she's coming home on Sunday.
Well, I know she told me she was coming home.
Yeah. We're going to go get her Sunday.
She's coming home Sunday?
Huh?
She told me Saturday. I guess it doesn't matter.
Anna told me we're going up Sunday.
Oh, well, maybe you are. I don't know.
Okay.
I knew she was coming back, though,
Yeah.
because I'm going to go Christmas shopping with her at some point.
Okay.
All right. Thanks. Okay. Mind your business. That's none of your business to be even commenting about that. You don't live my life. Get lost. All right. Anyways, let's continue with my story here. Okay, so I prayed with her every day. I felt a little bit more comfortable with life in general, and I was able to kind of move on forward and come out of my bedroom and actually live my life and stuff like that. And so that's what I did. I just pretty much prayed with her. And then one day she said, I have this one lady. I've kind of been her mentor. I would like to introduce you to her someday because I think she would be able to help you work through some things. And she eventually introduced me to the lady, and she became my mentor. And that was the start of my Word of Faith journey. We met at I think it was a McDonald's or something. Her and her apprentice helper started talking about different conferences they had gone to, because that's what Word of Faith, a lot of it is just running from conference to conference, getting more and more knowledge and stuff like that. And so they were talking about conferences, and they were talking about how this person got set free and how they're coming up. Oh yeah, John, he's coming up. And I was like, coming up? What are they talking? Coming up where? It was like this jargon, this language that I did not understand, and yet I was so fascinated by it. And they were talking, and I was like, wow, interesting. So time went on, and I joined her group that she ran, this mentor person. It was called Faith in Action. And actually, that's where my daughter, Amber Faith, got her name from, the Faith in Action group. And we studied about, literal interpretations of the Bible. I learned that God was not a big, mean ogre with a lightning bolt that wants to hit you with it when you're down, that he really loved me and that he saw me through a whole different set of eyes than what people saw me as and what I saw myself as. And it literally really started making me free. And we went to conferences together. And eventually, I won't get into the whole story because it's super long about the other church and all this other stuff. Anyway, that was my introduction into Word of Faith. Joyce Meyer was not a thing at that time. She had not yet been trained through Rhema Bible College or Oral Roberts University, whichever one. So I was learning a lot more from John Bevere, Robert Slierdon, Kenneth Hagin, Kenneth Copeland. Those were the teachers that I sat under. We're going to be talking about a little bit about some of those beliefs in a little while, because I did name this the Word of Faith things that I don't believe. So I'm going to tell you the things I don't believe. Anyway, back then I bought it all hook, line, and sinker. And I didn't really, as they say, test the spirits or examine the teachings too much. I just went along with it, and I raised my children in it. There were a lot of cultic things that were part of my life back then, even in the churches that I attended. So unfortunately, yes, I've been exposed to some cultic stuff as well. And therefore, I know what the truth is for me. All right. Is anybody here? Am I talking to myself? Because I don't see anybody typing, and you're free to comment. I don't care if you comment, but leave my husband and his past out of this. This has absolutely nothing to do with him. And my family, unless I decide to reveal stuff about them, is really none of your business. And bringing up somebody's past, you're the accuser of the brethren. So you need to stop speaking for the devil, because that's all you're doing. And you're not welcome in my room if you're going to speak for Satan. You can just head on out. All right. So let's talk about some of the teachings that I have learned or had learned through the Word of Faith. And I'll tell you the ones, I'm going to be talking about the ones mostly that I don't agree with, okay? Kenneth Copeland has taught for years that Adam was God manifest in the flesh. No, Adam was Adam. He is not God. No man is God, including me. I've never said I was God. I said I am the righteousness of God in Christ Jesus. The righteousness, Meaning that without him, I can do nothing, but with him, I can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me. It's not my power, it's his power. But I do have his power. And those that know him have his power over circumstances, over situations, whatever. One thing I do not have power over, and neither does anybody else, is another person's choices. Now, God has power over that. I believe I can pray to God, and if it's in his plan, he will turn about the hearts of kings the way he wills. I believe it's his will, not my will. And I think that's the biggest mistake that Word of Faith has made over the years, the things that I've been taught, is that they almost teach us that we are like some kind of, I don't know, magicians, and we can just wiggle our nose or say the right words and everything can be just the way we want it to be. The point is, if you belong to God, you want his will, not yours to begin with. So you shouldn't be praying according to anything but his will. Now, I don't mean you should sit there and say, well, if it be your will, God, heal this person of cancer, because I believe it's God's will to heal of cancer. Now, why people don't get healed of cancer, that's not my business. My business is to pray and curse the root of that cancer and demand that it dry up and go away and leave that person. That's my job. It's his job to decide whether that manifests that way. Okay? I don't command God. All right. Next. Benny Hinn said Jesus had a nice house and wore designer clothes and he was handling big money. No. Jesus was born in a manger. Jesus was very humble. He was not a braggart. He didn't go around boasting. He didn't live in a mansion. He did not wear designer clothes. And he was not handling big money at all. His father was a carpenter. Now, I've heard Kenneth Copeland even say, well, carpenters made a lot of money there. They weren't poor people. I still don't believe Jesus was some kind of a big movie star type person. If anything, he was despised. He was hated even by his own people. So I don't see him as this lofty, famous person that everybody just wanted to be like or admired or whatever. Okay, Joyce Meyer said that we can bind and loose on earth as it is in heaven. I do believe this. And I believe we should bind and loose on earth. And it will be as it is in heaven. However, again, God's plan comes into this. It's not about, well, I want this, so I'm just going to loose it on earth and I'm going to have it. I want a Rolls Royce. So God, I want a Rolls Royce. I'm just believing for this. Give me one. No. God is not a genie in a bottle at all. And that's part of having that relationship with him. You talk to him and find out what he wants for your life. It's not about what you want for your life. I mean, it is to an extent. He wants to give you the desires of your heart. But your desires of your heart should line up with what his plan is for your life and for others around you. Jesus was only followed by 12 figuratively. Yeah, I see what you're saying, Mommy Mars. Okay, Benny Hinn actually uttered these words. If you don't like them, kill them. And he was talking about people and how you can basically sick God on people. No, I don't believe that. If Kenneth said that, he is wrong. He said that things that were non-biblical. Yeah. No, I agree with you, Miss Turi. Definitely. I totally agree. That's why I said I am not full-fledged diehard Word of Faith. I believe certain parts of Word of Faith, and I also am a Messianic Jew. So my beliefs, I am a mutt, I guess you could say, a mixture, combination, as one of my Saudi Arabian students said. You are a combination. Yes, I'm a combination. Okay. So no, I don't believe if you don't like people, kill them. And honestly, some of my worst enemies who have treated me the worst in my entire life, I would not want to bring harm to them. I would not want to have evil happen to them, nor would I want to see them go to hell if you believe hell is a place of fire and brimstone or even separation from God. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. I would not want that to happen to anybody. I would, however, want to see them held accountable. And God is the best one to take vengeance or do whatever he does with people. That's not my business either. My business is to forgive, to bless, and move on. And that's what I'm choosing to do. All right. Next, Creflo Dollar was another one. He said, well, everybody can say a lot of stuff, and everyone has problems saying I'm a God, but you're a little God. No, we're not. He's God. I'm not. I'm not a little God. I'm his child. I'm not him. I'm as much him as anybody's child is the person that they came from. Yeah. It does, Mommy Mars. The screaming, yelling. Yeah, I know. Gives you a headache. Hi, Sweet Wheat. I think I hid you, but hi anyways. All right. So, no, I don't believe that everyone should be going around saying they're God or even a little God, like a mini God. No. Hagen said, we can stand in God's presence and not feel inferior. Really? When I stand in God's presence, even when I pray to him, I know he is God and I'm not. I know that I am a lesser being than God is. Or he wouldn't be my God. The whole point of having a God is somebody so much greater and bigger and more amazing than any human creature on this earth. So no, I don't equate myself as equal to God. No. And yes, I do feel inferior to him. What did One Love say? A la carte. I'm confused. Okay, well, anyways. I like the Christmas tree. So anyhow, no, I think there is a certain amount of inferiority we have when we stand before God. He says, come boldly before the throne. You shouldn't be afraid of God, but you should know your place. He's God, you're not. He's the deity. We're not. And I'm trying to think of where I was going with that. Oh, even David in the book of Psalms talked about how he was undone in the sight of God. Undone. He was just like a mess. And there's times I go to God and I'm a blubbering fool. I will cry my eyes out before him. God, I don't know what to do. Yeah, definitely. And you should. You should go to God however you are, comfortable. He made you. He knows you inside and out. He knows your secrets. He knows what you're doing. He knows what you're planning. He knows everything about you better than you know. All right. Joyce Meyer said, Jesus stopped being the Son of God at the cross and took on Satan's nature and was tortured and born again in hell. No. No, and that's a real popular word of faith belief that Jesus did not stay God. He became Satan, and he was tortured by Satan, and then therefore he overcame him, and that's why we got set free, because he took on the sin nature, and that's how he took it on. Now, I do believe he took on our sin nature on the cross. I believe that's why God did not look upon him, why he said, my God, why have you forsaken me? I believe that's true. I believe when God looked at him on that cross, he saw all the bad things we would ever do on his son. Yeah, I understand, Miss Turi. So no, I don't agree with that Jesus was tortured in hell and took on the likeness of Satan. No. Why would Jesus take on the likeness of somebody he created as a beautiful angel, Lucifer? And then he fell and took a third of the angels with him. Why would he lower himself to the standard of becoming evil? He can't take on evil. That makes no sense. Okay, Joel Osteen. Everything I put my hand to prospers. Therefore, God gives me whatever I want materially. Not true. Look around you. Does everybody look at my house? Do I have what I want materially? Seriously? No. Look at my lovely wall behind me. It's a curtain. It's a bedspread or sheet, whatever that it is. A sheet, yeah. You've seen the holes in my floor. I don't have material blessings. And that's the whole point of serving God is, even though he slay me, yet will I praise him. You always put him first, no matter what your circumstances are. He didn't promise you a rose garden. Now, he promises to bless you, but what does a blessing look like? It's different for each person. For me, a blessing is having this curtain here. Seriously. So that I can have like a private little area. And actually, it needs to be fixed. Matthew kind of hung that up there. Lopsided. It gives me a private little kind of room so I can tutor and have a plain background behind me so I don't lose my job because there's too much distraction in the background. So that's a blessing for me. My ex just brought me over Christmas things to work on. That's a blessing for me because that gives me gifts I can give to my children, and they're handmade. So blessings are different. They come in different forms. Sometimes God heals people. I've seen miracles. I've watched a person and felt a person's leg grow. And I wouldn't tell you that except that I firsthand experienced it. My friend was deaf in one ear from birth. She was healed when hands were laid on her and she was prayed over. He does do that. But that's not always the way you get your blessings. It's not always through material things. What I do know and what I do believe in is God works all things together for good to those who love him and are the called according to his purpose. If you're doing things that are not of God and your life is not blessed, do not be surprised. Yeah, I know, Mrs. Turry. I eat the meat and spit the bones. I can listen to people, and if they say something I don't agree with, I just throw it out. I hold on to the things I agree with and spit the bones out. Spit out the icky stuff that doesn't fit with my spirit. So anyway, that's what I wanted to say. So those of you going around saying Dee Dee's in a cult, she joined a cult, now she's nuts, she's a cult person, she's a cult leader, she's trying to start her own little cult on YouTube. No, I'm not. I don't agree with everything Word of Faith teaches at all. I am able to listen to things and make my own choices. And I know what is good and what is evil. And yes, there's a lot of evil on YouTube right now, big time. There's a lot of evil choices people are making, a lot of evil things people are doing. But again, that's none of my business. And as somebody said, what people think of you is none of your business. So if I can maintain that thought and not care anymore what people think of me, then I guess I can keep this room going and I can keep doing what I've been doing since 2008. And if people want to copy it, stream it, use it, whatever, okay, whatever. Maybe you'll get some new people in your room that are watching me and say, hey, I'm going to go check this chick out. She sounds kind of interesting. Or maybe you'll have some people that hate me that try to come in here and maybe Hillary will have to block them. I don't know. Whatever. I believe God has my life figured out way better than I can ever figure it out. So I'm not really worried about it. Anyway, so that's that. That's the Word of Faith in a nutshell. That's what they believe, that we're little gods and that we can command God and tell him what to do and that he owes it to us and he can't lie and he can't be untrue to his word. So everything you want, everything you say is yours. It all came from E.W. Kenyon, which is very positive confession type person, and it was plagiarized from the beginning. I followed for years something that I didn't even know was counterfeit, but I do believe the word of God, and I believe God at his word. That's a good idea, Mrs. Turre. And that's just how it is. Anyway, anybody got any questions? Now I'll be quiet. And if you don't have questions, that's okay. I've got Christmas things to go work on, obviously. Right. They don't have all the truth. None of us have all the truth. We only see in part and prophesy in part, as the Bible says. And yes, I believe there are modern day prophets. In fact, one of them happened to be my spiritual mentor for years. And yes, her prophetic words are accurate. So I do believe in that. I don't believe that prophecy and tongues and all the gifts of the Spirit died out with the apostles. Nobody will ever convince me of that. And many have tried. So I'm a charismatic. I'm not a conservative. And if there's one thing that people have realized or seen with me is that I am not your typical anything. I am not a typical Christian. I'm definitely not Catholic. I'm not Baptist. I'm not Southern Baptist. I'm probably Pentecostal / charismatic. and very open-minded compared to many people that claim to believe similar to me. I'm a lot more tolerant, I think, of people and beliefs than other people are. It depends on the belief. Right, Kendall, exactly. I am who I am, take it, leave it, whatever, stream it, I don't care. It's not going to bother me anymore. I'm not even fazed by it anymore. Anyhow, that's all I had to say. So like I said, if you want to have some questions, comments, whatever, go for it. And I agree, we shouldn't all be the same. It would be boring. And those of us that are here and anywhere really, we are always changing. We're always growing, Yeah, it's free advertisement. Exactly, Hillary. Why get upset about a free advertisement? It's just my room's in more than one place. Perfect. And honestly, I think that most people will form their own opinion about me or my room or my beliefs or anything anyways, because most people have their own mind and prefer to make up their own decisions, whether someone's saying something contrary or not. So it doesn't matter. It's whatever. So then, anyone else want to add anything? Or maybe you've heard about other heretical type of teachings that you want to talk about? I think it's a dangerous thing for somebody to go around saying that they are God or equivalent with God, because it's just not true. God is God and you are not. We are not. Quiet room today. Oh, I can't show you yet. It's Christmas stuff I gotta paint. There's little characters I'm gonna paint for my kids for Christmas. But I'll show you after they're done. I'll probably be taking pictures of them. So I got to get started on that because Christmas is right around the bend. I'm eating a peanut butter cup, sugar-free. I'm actually doing okay with the sugar-free candy now, so thank God. I have to have some treat once in a while. Yeah, I could show you privately, but if I show it on here and Carol happens to watch it, kind of spoils the surprise, Mm-hmm. People like homemade gifts or handmade gifts. Me personally, I prefer handmade gifts. Mm-hmm. I'll show you pictures when they're done, because by the time they're done, they're going to be wrapped up and brought to the houses for Christmas. Kendall, I made some cute ornaments one year. My mom used to make ornaments a lot. A styrofoam ball and then little pieces of square pieces of material, and you take like the end of something and like push the squares in it. It looks like a patchwork ornament. Cute. And then you can take like glitter glue or glitter paint and paint between the patchwork squares. I used to like bead ornaments. Like you take a pin with a little round head on it, and you take like sequins and beads and you'd slip them on the pin and then put them through the styrofoam, and you'd get ribbon and you can make like bead ornaments. Cool. They used to have kits for them. I don't see them anymore, but maybe Hobby Lobby has them or something. Oh yeah. Oh, dog ornaments. Cool. That's neat. All right, y'all. I guess I'm going to go. It's been an hour that I've been going on, and I think they got enough footage over in the other room to last them a while. So, till the next time, this has been the DD Network. Delusion Dispeller all the time. God bless you guys. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.